Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Bisayo Tokiti, and today I will be taking us through tabulation. If you are new here, please kindly press the subscribe button and also put on your notification button so you know when new videos are uploaded. If you have already subscribed, I say thumbs up to you. Thank you. Last week we looked at classification of classification, and the next stage after classification is tabulation. We said classification and grouping of related facts into their classes. Then the next process after classification is tabulation. And what do we call tabulation? Is the simplest and most revealing devices for summarizing data and presenting them in a meaningful form. But before tabulation, there is a word called table. Tables can be defined as representation of statistical data in columns and in rows. What do we mean columns and rows? Rows are usually horizontal in nature. They are usually horizontal in nature, and columns are vertical in nature. And columns are vertical in nature. They are vertical in nature. For example, how do we explain what a row is? For example, in your note is always like this, and you have something like this at the beginning. You say 1, this is row 1, this is row 2, this is row 3, this is row 4, this is row 5, like that. Row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, and row 5, like that. Then what are columns? We said columns are vertical in nature. So this is column 1 on the board, this is column 2 on the board, this is column 3 on the board, and this is column 4, this is also column 5, and like that. So rows are usually horizontal in nature, then columns are vertical in nature. What are the roles of tabulation in statistical analysis or representing of statistical data? 1, a table helps to simplify the presentation or mass of data. It helps us to bring it in a more precise form. Then secondly, it helps in facilitating comparison between one data and the other. Then also a table gives an identity to the data. Then it also reveals pattern or trend of events over a period of time. Then what are the parts of a table? What are the parts of it? Basically, we have 7 parts of the table, and the first one is called table number. Every table must be assigned a number. Then the second is called table title. Every table must be given a suitable title. Then the third one is called caption. The third part is called caption. What are captions? Captions are column headings, because we have said rows are horizontal, and columns are vertical in nature. And as time goes on, we have more things to be represented on each of the columns. So the column heading are called caption. Then the fourth part of the table is called stoop, and stoop are the heading of the rows, row heading. Then the fifth part of the table is the body of the table, and that is the most important part of the table. That is where all the significant elements of the table is represented. Then another part of a table is called headnotes. And usually, what are headnotes? Headnotes are things that are important that are not represented in the title, and we are just showing a caption that shows headnotes. What are those other attributes that are not in the title and it is important? Then the last one is called footnote. The last part of the table is called the footnote, and the footnote is some element that we have represented either in the caption or in the stoop that we have not stated the full meaning. We are coming down to say this is the meaning, or this is the meaning of what we have represented in either the caption or the stoop. Just drawing what a table looks like. Just a small sketch of what a table looks like. It's just a small sketch of what a table looks like. You can draw it depending on your own way of drawing. You can draw it whichever way. The table number is somewhere here. The table number is somewhere here. Table number is here. Table number. The title is in the middle. Head notes comes around this place. Then we have the Caption, we said captions are column heading. Then we have the stoop, then we have the body of the table. Then lastly, we have the footnote. Is it up to 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the first and most important part of the table, every table must be given a suitable number, every table must be attached a number. Then every table must be given a suitable title. Then any important element in the title that is not included in the title can be as the head notes. Then caption are the column heading, while stoop are the row heading. The body of the table, the most important element where all the figures and things that are related to the table are represented. Then the footnote, maybe we have represented some things in the caption or the stoop of the body that is not clearly stated or is difficult for every other person to understand. We come to the footnote and explain what is it. For example, a footnote, I might come to the body of the letter and say M. I can say M and F. What does this mean? M may mean might mean male, and F might mean female to me. So I have to come and state it in the footnote that anywhere you see M, it is male, and anywhere you see F, it is female. Then another thing we'll look at is the general rules that guides tabulation, or the general rule that guides the construction of a good table. It is difficult to lay down any fast rule for tabulation, but in general we can look at some of these points to help us in drawing our own table in the future or now. We said a table is an art, and practical experience is of immense help or importance. Professor Bollis also points out that common sense is the most requirement and experience is the best teacher in drawing table. But I will quickly run through some points that can guide us in drawing our table. The first one is the table should suit the size of the paper, usually with the rows and the column. It should suit the size of the paper, usually with more rows than column rather. Then secondly, we said caption and stoop should be arranged in a systematic order. We have alphabetically, chronologically, geographically, conventionally. Then third, unit of measurement should be clearly defined. Fourth, figures should be rounded up, approximated. I think that's the best word to use. Then 5, a table should not be overloaded with details. 6, miscellaneous columns should be added in case some data does not fit a particular classification. Then 7, the arrangement of the table should be logical. Then 8, avoid too many titles. Then number 9, the table should be explicit. And finally, do not use ditto marks in any of your table representation. Another point we'll be looking at is types of table. We have what is called simple table and we have what is called complex table. When we look at simple tables, they are tables that represent only one characteristic and can also be called a one-way table. Then when we look at complex table, they are tables that represent 2 or more characteristics, and when it is representing 2 characteristics, we call it two-way table or double tabulation. When it represents 3 characteristics, we call triple table or triple tabulation. When it represents 4 characteristics, we call it 4 characteristics or more rather, we call it manifold tabulation. The distinction between a simple and a complex table is based on the number of representation, number of characteristics that are represented on each of the table. For example, let's take an example of what a one-way or a simple table is. Like I said earlier, a simple table or a one-way table is a table that as it is representing only one characteristic, and this I would say number of students according to their age group, number of students according to their age groups, number of students according to their age groups, number of students according to their age group. And I say their ages. This is ages of students. ages, then number of students is represented here. Numbers of students is represented here. So let's look at an example of ages of students in maybe in an institution or polytechnic. Let's say below 15. There are some students that enters university below 15, below 15, then we can say between 15 to 20, we can say 20 to 25. We can also look at 25 to 30. Then we can look at above 30, above 30. This kind of table, as just represented, is an example of a simple or a one-way table that shows a simple characteristics. And what is the characteristics that this table is showing? It's showing the ages of students in a particular setting, and we have looked at the ages. Some students can be below 15, while some students will be between 15 and 20, some will be between 20 and 25, some will be between 25 and 30, some might be above 30, depending on the kind of institution and the classification we are making. Because this is just an example, that is why I have not attached a figure to all this. Then let's also look at an example of a two-way table. The second one we'll be looking at is an example of a two-way table. The second one we'll be looking at is an example of a two-way table where two characteristics are represented. Then this is an example of a two-way table, or we can also say double characteristics. And we'll be taking an example from numbers of students. So this is a table showing numbers of students in different age groups, according to their gender, Don't forget I said this is a two-way table or a double characteristics. That is, it's showing two characteristics. From this table, from the title of the table now, we have said table 2 and the number of students in different age group according to their gender. Here we are representing their age group and we are also representing what? Their gender. The two characteristics are shown here. One is the age group, then the second one is the gender. Let me write it out. Their ages here. Ages, we said below 15, then we say 15 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30, then above 30, above 30. And we said gender. If we are looking at gender, it can either be what? Gender can either be what? At least for this part of the world, gender can either be what? Male or what? Female. Male or female. Then the total is also calculated out. So like I said, two-way table or a double characteristics. As shown two characteristics. The first characteristic we are showing is their age group, and the second characteristic we are showing is the gender. And gender can either be what? Male or female. Then the third example we'll be looking at is a complex table or an higher order table that shows three or more characteristics. A complex table or an higher order table that shows three characteristics, that shows two or more characteristics or three or more characteristics, is called a complex table. A complex table that shows three or more characteristics. And this table 3, we said complex table, and we say complex table shows three or more characteristics. It shows three or more characteristics. And what are we going to be representing? The first thing we'll be representing on this table is age group. The first thing we'll be representing on this table is student age group. Then the second thing we'll be representing on this table is gender. The second one is gender. Then the third we'll be representing on this table is the allowances. The allowances that these students have access to. What is their allowances? Then I'll be drawing the table now and say these are the numbers of students. Number of students of students, according number of students according to their age group, their age group, gender and allowance, gender, that's the title of the table. Don't forget, when we are saying parts of a table, we said each table must be given a reasonable title, must be also attached in a number, must also be attached to the table. This is table 3. So we are looking at 3 characteristics to be represented on this table, and their ages. For example, their age, I want to clean so that I can draw properly. Their ages. Ages, number of students according to age group, gender and allowance, age group, gender and allowance. And we are looking at the age. We already know the age group that we are looking at. We said below 15. Then we said between 15 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30, then above 30. Then we are also looking at the allowances they give them. So allowances is somewhere here. The allowances is somewhere here, and we are saying for a particular set of students, they get 10,000 on a monthly basis. Another set of students get 20,000 on a monthly basis. Another set of students get 30,000 on a monthly basis. 30,000 on a monthly basis. Don't forget that we are trying to represent age group, gender and allowance on this same table. I've represented the age group, I've represented the allowances. Then the next thing is what? The gender. I'm going to represent the gender on this same table. So I'm saying that for every student that get 10,000, we have the male, we have the female, and we have the total for that particular allowance. Therefore, 20,000, we have the male, we have the female, then we have the total. For 30,000 students on that their allowances is 30,000 per month, we have male, we have female, then we have total. If you look at the board, if I'm going to total the total number of male, total number of female, total number of, I'm still going to have total of male, of female, and the general total here. So what am I saying? This is a 3-way table. It's a table that shows 3 or more characteristics, but for this table we have just shown 3 characteristics, and the first characteristic that we have shown is the age group of the students. We have also shown their gender, and we have also shown the allowance that each student is entitled to. Then the age group is between 15 below, 15 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30, then above 30. Then the first allowance is 10,000 naira per month. The second allowance is 20,000 per month, and the third allowance is 30,000 per month. For a student that gets 10,000, we have male, female, and total. For a student that gets 20,000, we have male, female, and total. For students that get 30,000, we have male, female, and total. And in general, the total of male, the total of female, and the total in general. Okay, then another example we'll be looking at is a table that shows 4 characteristics. A table that shows 4 characteristics. And before I go to a table that shows 4 characteristics, I want to explain what are the things we are expecting to see on that table. What are the things that we're expecting to see on that table? For this type of table, we want to represent table 4. 4 characteristics. 4 characteristics. 4 characteristics. 4 characteristics. And what are we trying to represent? The first thing we are trying to represent, as we all know, is the age group. The age group, depending on the question, it might not be age group, it might be religion, it might be tradition, it could be anything, it could be tribe, it could be anything. But for this example we are making, age group is one of the characteristics. The second characteristics we are trying to represent here is religion. The second characteristics we are trying to represent here is religion. Then the third characteristics we are trying to represent there is gender. The third characteristics we are trying to represent here is gender. Then the fourth characteristics we are trying to represent there is the allowances of these students, the allowances that they are entitled to on a monthly basis. For this age group, don't forget that these are what we are trying to look at. Below 15, we are looking at 15 to 20, 20 to 25, then 25 to 30, then above 30. Above 30. For religion, for example, we are looking at Muslims, we are looking at Christians, then we are looking at the traditionalists. Then for gender, we are the student can either be a male or what? Female. Then the allowances, like we described earlier, the allowances we are looking at, each student are entitled to three methods of allowance. The first one is 10,000 naira per month. The second one is 20,000 per month, while the third one is 30,000 per month. Any student can fall into any of these categories. So I'm going to represent these four characteristics on a single table. And don't forget, this is table 4. And the title of the page of the table is number of students according to their religion. I think the first thing we wrote was age group, according to their age groups, according to religion, then gender, according to their gender, and allowances. That's the title of the table. We said each table must have a table number and a suitable title. Then we want to represent all those characteristics on a simple table. Now we want to represent all those characteristics on a single table, and the first thing I'm going to represent could either be age group or religion. But let me start with religion, because the religion is 3, the age group is about 4. So I'm going to start with religion and say religion on this axis. I say religion, and the first religion we are looking at is Muslim, isn't it? Muslims. We are looking at Christians. We are looking at Christians. Then we are looking at the traditionalists. We are looking at the traditionalists. For every of these things, for every of these classes of religion, I'm drawing a line to demarcate it. Then the next thing we are looking at is their age groups. The next thing we are looking at is their age group, and we said for each of those religion, the age group is what? Below 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30, then what? Above 30. For Christians too, the same age group is represented for Christians. So we say below 15, we say 15 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30, then above 30. For traditionalists, the same age group is represented for them. So we say below 15, then 15 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30, then above 30. Then one thing that we have not represented is the allowances and the gender. So I'm going to represent the allowances here, or the allowance attached to them. So I'm going to say the first set of allowance is what? 10,000 naira. 10,000 naira. Then the second set of allowance is what? 20,000 per month. Then the third allowance is what? 30,000 per month. 30,000 per month. Then the total of all 30,000 per month. So I'm breaking each of the allowance down. I'm breaking each of the allowance down. I'm breaking it down. And for each allowance, don't forget, the gender is not represented. We have male, we have female, then we have total number of students that takes 10,000 on a monthly basis. Then for 20,000 too, we have male, we have female, then we have total. Then for 30,000, we have male, we have female, then we have total. Then for the total of male, total of female, and total overall. Don't forget that we also mentioned something like footnotes. It is not everybody that would understand that M is equals to male, or F is equals to female, or T is equals to total. So you come to the bottom of your table and write footnotes. It means that anywhere anybody sees M is represented by what? By male. M means male, male, and F means what? Female, and F means female. Then T means total. So anywhere anybody that is not even familiar with this picks up this table will understand that M means what? Male, F means female, and T means total. We have tried to look at the simple and complex table. Another type of table I have not mentioned is called the general and the special purpose table. And what is called the general purpose table? The general purpose table can also be called the reference table, and it can also be called the repository table. And this provides general information to use or to reference, is a point of reference. Examples of this table are published in governmental agencies. Then another type of table is the special purpose table, and it can also be called the summary table or called the derivative table. It provides information for particular discussion or for a special purpose like the name implies. Let's take some examples, more examples on how to form table generally. I'm going to take 3 more examples and I'm going to be done. So example number 1, or illustration 1 rather. Illustration 1. Illustration 1 says, draft a blank table. Draft a blank table to show the following. Draft a blank table to show the following. And the first thing you are showing on that table is gender. The first thing you are showing on that table, gender. The second thing you are showing on that table is the allowances or the allowance. The allowance or the allowances. And don't forget, gender can either be male or female. So 2 things. Then the allowance, the first allowance we had was 10k, the second one is 20k, and the third one is 30k. Then the third thing that will be represented on that table is religion. The third thing that represented on that table is religion, and the religion we'll be looking at now is Muslim and Christians. Muslims and Christians. Then the last thing that will be represented on that table is the age group. Age group of students. The age group or age groups of students. And the age group we'll be looking at is 15 to 20, 20 to 25, then 25 to 30. I'm going to quickly draw this table on this board now. Illustration 1, and I'm going to represent that table quickly now. I'm going to represent the table quickly for us to be fast. I'm going to represent the table quickly. And don't forget, we said every table must have a number. So because this is illustration 1, I'm saying this is table 1 again. And what is the title of this table? This table is number of students, like we did earlier. Number of students according to gender. I think gender, allowance or allowances, allowance or allowances, religion, and the last one is age group. The last one is age group. The last one is their age group. Every table must be given a suitable title. Every table must be given a suitable title. That is not straight. So I want to make it straight, please. I want to try to make it straight. This is also not straight. Okay, this is better. Then we are representing those characteristics we showed earlier on the board on a single table, and this is what I do. The first thing I'll be representing, since it's four characteristics, I have religion, I have gender, I have the allowance, then I have the age group. The first thing I'm going to be representing is the religion. The first thing I'm going to be representing, and the religion is in two types. We have the Muslims, and we have the Christians. We have the Christian. Then after I've represented the religion, another important that is age group and allowance of the same number. So I want to represent the age group here. I want to represent the age, and the age group is 15 to 20, 20 to 25, then 25 to 30. Don't forget, since they are different religion, it's going to be further represented down. 15 to 20, 20 to 25, then 25 to 30. Then the next thing I'm going to be representing here is the allowance that each of the students gets. So I'm going to write allowance here. Then the first allowance is 10,000, if I'm right, 10,000 naira. The second is 20,000 naira, and the third is 30,000 naira. The only thing I've not represented on this table is the gender. So I'm going to represent gender. The first one is male. M represents male, F represents female, and the total. M male, female, then the total. M male, then female, then the total. Then let's also look at another example that represents like 5 characteristics. Let's see how we represent it on a single table. A table that shows 5 characteristics. Let's see how to represent it on a single table. A table that shows 5 characteristics. Let's see how we represent on a single table. A table that shows 5 characteristics. Then table 2. Draw a blank table showing the following. Draw a blank table showing the following. And the first thing we are looking at is a faculty. The first characteristics we are looking at is faculty, and the faculties we'll be looking at is Faculty of Management Sciences, Faculty of Management Sciences, Faculty of Management Sciences. Would also look at the Faculty of Law, then we look at the Faculty of Sciences. We are representing 5 characteristics on a single table. Then B, the second characteristics we'll be looking at the kind of degree that is earned in each of these faculty. We are looking at BSc, we are looking at MSc, and we are looking at PhD. Then another characteristics, I said 5 characteristics. Another characteristics we'll be looking at is gender. Then we have the male and the female. The male and the female. The male and the female. Then another characteristics that we'll be looking at on this table is their age group. Age group. And the age group that we'll be looking at is below 20 and above, below 20 and above 20. Then the last characteristics that will be represented on this same table is the set of the students. Is the set of the student. And the first set will be 2019, 2020. Then the second set will be 2020, 2021 set. Let's see how we represent these 5 characteristics on a single table. these 5 characteristics on a single table. Table 2. Every table must have a number and a suitable title. Every table must have a number and a suitable title. This table is showing numbers of students according to their faculty, the degree and gender, age group, and finally set of students. I'm going to be representing these 5 characteristics on this table. Don't forget that I said that common sense is the chief requirement for drawing any table. So I'm going to apply my common sense in drawing this 5 characteristics table. So I'm going to start by drawing. And the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to divide this table into 2 sets because we have 2 sets. And because of the volume of what we are representing on the table, it might be difficult if we don't divide into 2 sets. So I'm going to say this is set 1, 2019 to 2020, then 2020 to 2021. I hope everybody is with me. We have the first thing has been done, and the fourth thing I've represented is the sets of on the table. That's 1 characteristic is gone, remaining 4 characteristics. So the second thing I'll be representing on this table is the faculty to which these students belong. The faculty to which each of these students belong. And don't forget that we said the faculty is what? Management Sciences, Faculty of Management Sciences. We have the Faculty of Law, then we have the Faculty of Sciences, the Faculty of Science. Then another thing, now I've done faculty, I've done the set, it remains the degree, the gender, and the age group. Another thing I'll be representing now will be the degrees. Another thing I'll be representing now, or let me represent the age group first. So I'm going to put age group here. Their age group. I'm going to put their age group here. And their age group for each of those faculty is what? The age group for each of those faculty is what? I said below 20 and above 20. Below 20 and above 20. Below 20 and above 20. It will be represented for each of the faculties. Below 20 and above 20. I want to demarcate it, so I'm going to rule a line across each of the faculty. If you look at the board now, I've represented the faculty, I've represented the gender, I've also represented the set. So 2 things I've not represented now is what? The degree that they have come to earn and the gender, the degree and the gender. So what am I going to be doing to the degree now? There are 3 degrees. So the first degree, sorry for cleaning this part off. I want to rewrite it to be more clearer. I said 2019, 2020. And the degrees that they are earning. The first degree is what? BSc. The second degree is what? MSc. And the third degree is what? PhD. MSc, BSc, MSc Masters, then PhD, Doctorate. Then I'm still going to represent that on this page. So I'm going to say BSc, I'm going to say MSc, and the last one will be PhD. Don't forget that what I've represented here is covering, it has covered for 2019, 2020 and 2020-2021. I mean the faculty and the age. So the only thing that I've not represented is now the gender. Because of my space, I'm going to only represent the gender. I'm not going to add the total. So for BSc, for everybody that comes for BSc, we know for each of the set or each of the age, we have male and we have female. We have male and we have female. We have male and we have what? Female. We have male and we have female. We have male and we have female. We have male and we have female. I've used my common sense to draw this table. So I also encourage you that whenever you are drawing your own table, common sense is the chief requirement. Thank you. I'm going to take a further example now. I'm going to take a further example that is a bit more advanced, because all the tables we have been drawing since morning has been blank table. Let's draw a table now that is specific, that shows figures. So table 3 will be the next table I'm going to draw, and the question goes thus. Table 3, and the question says, in a sample study about the tea drinking habits in 2 villages, the following data were observed. And 2 villages, village A and we have village B. Village A and we have village B. And the first question says 1. 70% were male. 70% were male. The second question says 80% were tea drinkers. And the third question says 62% were male tea drinkers. And for village B, the same question, the same pattern of question is repeated. The first one says 55% were male. Then 35% were tea drinkers. Then the last part of the question says 25% were male tea drinkers. Represent in a tabular form. I'm going to show the analysis on the board in a short while. Come along with me. Don't forget, this is table 3. Every table must be given a table number. Then also every table must be given a suitable title. So I'm going to title this table a table showing the percentage of tea drinkers in village A and B. Table showing percentage of tea drinkers in village A and B. That's the title of my table. You can give it any suitable title that you feel is suitable. So the first thing I'm drawing is the attributes what are the attributes? Don't forget that they said tea drinkers. So the first attributes are what? Tea drinkers. The first attributes are what? Tea drinkers. And the next one will be what? It will be the opposite. Non-tea drinkers. Non-tea drinkers. Non-tea drinkers. Then my total, of course, my total. This is too close, so I'm going to clean. So I'm going to rewrite non-tea drinkers. Non-tea drinkers. Then the total. I'm going to draw a line across it to the other end. Then I'm going to also draw another line to the other end. I'm going to draw a line to the other end. Then don't also forget that apart from tea drinkers and not tea drinkers, they have said there are two villages. So the first one is village A, and the second is village B. Don't also forget in the question they have indicated male. So where there is male, we would automatically have female. So I'm going to represent what I have in the question on the board now. So I have male, I have female, and the total of all. Then for term B2, I have male. Male is male, female, then total. Male, female, then total. Okay, looking at the question, the first question says 70% were male. They didn't indicate if they were tea drinkers or non-tea drinkers. They just said 70%. If you look at the board, if you put 70%, it means total number of tea drinkers. And they have not said, they said 70% were male. It means that the total number of people that were male in that village is was 70%. But they have not differentiated if they were tea drinkers or non-tea. They said 70% were male. So I'm putting my 70% here. Since it's 70%, 100 is our percentage. So 100 will be my total. I just assumed, like we said, common sense is the chief requirement in drawing any table. So the next question says, and automatically this will be 30, because 100 minus 70 will give us 30, because it is in percentage. Other questions might not come that way, but this one has come in percentage, so we are taking it as that. Then the second question says 80% were tea drinkers. The question did not indicate if they are male or female. They just said the total number of tea drinkers in village A is 80%. If you look at the board, this is where the tea drinkers are. So both male and female for tea drinkers is what? 80%. So I come here and write 80. Automatically, this becomes 20. That will be 100 minus 80. That is 20. The third question, which is the last question for village A, says 62% were male tea drinkers. 62% were male tea drinkers. If you look at the board, tea drinkers is the first point. They're male. 62% were male tea drinkers. Like I said, common sense is the chief requirement for drawing any table. I have to work out every other point on the table. I know this value. I know this value. The total is 80. Then to get the female will be 80 minus 62. That will give us 18. I know these two. I know these two. I don't know these two. What will I do? 30 minus 18 should give me 12. Yes. Then I also know this. I don't know this. What will be my answer? 70 minus 62 should give me 8. Adding everything together, let's see if it matches. 62 plus 8 gives us 70. 18 plus 20 plus 12 gives us 30. 80 plus 20 gives us 100. If it doesn't match, it means it is not correct. Then let's look at this. 62 plus 18 is what? 80. 8 plus 12 is 20. 70 plus 30 is 100. That means I'm right. Then I'm also going to go to village B now. Village B, the same set of questions or the same pattern of question for village A is also asked for village B. Village B says 55 persons or 55 were male, 55% were male. Don't forget we are working in percentage, so the total will give us 100% because it is in percentage. If they have not said it is in percentage, I don't have any right to put 100 here. But because they have said it is in percentage, that's why I'm putting 100 here. And they said, the first question said 55% were male. 55% were male. So the total male, to differentiate between the two towns. So the total male is what? The total male, 55% were male. The total male is 55. The total male is 55. I don't know the value of this. I don't know 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 this. But I know this is 100. And this male plus female will give me 100. I know male. I don't know female. What then is my female? Will be 100 minus 55. 100 minus 55 will give us what? 45. So the next one says, this next question says 35% were tea drinkers. 35, don't forget tea drinkers. 35% were tea drinkers. So the total number of tea drinkers that we had, both male and female, was what? 35%. So I come here and write 35% on the board. Don't also forget, I know the value of this, I don't know this. And this is the total of this plus this will give me this. So I'm saying 100 minus 35. What do I have? 65. So this place will be 65. Then the last question says 25% were male tea drinkers. 25% were male tea drinkers. These are the tea drinkers and this is male. So 25% are male tea drinkers. I don't know this, I don't know this, I don't know this, but I know this, 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 because I said common sense is the chief requirement for drawing a table. So how do I get this? The total is 35 and male is 25. To get female will be total minus male. That is what? 35 minus 25 will give me what? 10. Then I don't know these two values, but I know this, I know this, I know this. I can easily get these two values. If the total is 45 and female is female tea drinkers is 10, female non-tea drinkers will be what? 45 minus 10. That will give us 35. Then for male non-tea drinkers will be total male drinkers minus total tea drinkers. That will give us 55 minus 25. That will give me 30. Let's see if it's right. 25 plus 10 is 35. 35 plus 35. 30 plus 35 is 65. 50 plus 50. 55 plus 45 is 100. Let's look at this angle too. 25 plus 30, 55. 10 plus 35, 45. 35 plus 65, 100. That means we are right. Thank you.